Everything we need already exists inside of us. We hold the key to open the door to discover who we are and why we exist. Conversations help us find that truth. Relationships are vital. IDKY hopes to ignite your curiosity and perhaps give you courage to open the door. Okay, welcome back to IDKY Podcast, where we just don't know yet. We've got a lot of information from Shawn, and it's been a lot of fun sharing stories. And so we're going to have our conclusion session right now, and we'll just do some follow-up questions to fill in some pieces of what Shawn's been up to. So, Shawn, we talked a lot about some people that you really appreciate in life that have helped you and Kelly on this road. It has to take a lot of people because you're going in a lot of different directions. And earlier today, I noticed that there were some helpers here or whatever, and it doesn't look like they're working. It looks like they're having a lot of fun. It looks like a job that they probably fight to get because I think they were maybe doing some cooking and it seems more not as burdensome, but more of doing life together. And it feels like Kelly's just a mentor already in that place. Do you agree with that?
I think you're spot on.
Yeah.
I do. It is. It works out really well. We call them high school helpers, although in your case, when the young ladies you saw, their names are Riley and Maria, and they're in college at this point.
Okay.
And so they just happen to have finished their semester in college and recently came back home and for a short time. And what's wonderful about those two, and the same could be said for some others that have helped Kelly in the past, is they reach out when they're home. They make it a priority to just ask Kelly if she needs any help and or just to visit.
Yeah.
Like all things, over the course of time, when you're doing something day after day, there's parts of it that would feel like work because you're helping with laundry or you're helping prepare a meal or maybe you're helping Sam and Emmy with part of their homework. So I'm sure there's plenty of days where somebody would rather be having free time. But to your point, I think it's helpful from two standpoints. One, you are learning some life skills, and two, you are being mentored by Kelly. And I think any high school helper that's been in that role would absolutely acknowledge, after the fact, that whether they realized it at the time or not, it was a gift. And so, yes, back to your original point, it does take a village. I think that's true for anybody in life. I think the sooner in life you realize that everybody needs help and to get over your pride and be willing to accept it, and then give it, of course, whenever you're able. But for us, we receive a lot of help. Kelly has 4 morning caretakers, and they've been in our lives for a while now. One as far back as, I would say, 24 years she's been with Kelly. Her name's Carla. And then Julie, Anna, and Jamie are the other 3. And so, but it's awesome because there's familiarity in all of it with all 4 of them, and they're all super dependable. Yeah, just willing when the need arises.
I imagine they help Kelly take care of her needs, but are there also other household needs that they're participating in? It's just healthcare.
They're just doing that in the morning just to kind of help her get the day started.
And that's enough.
Yeah, and on most days they take her to school. They ride over in her van and then drop the van back off. But every once in a while there's a reason that we need to go to school together, in which case the 4 of us will ride together. But Kelly likes the freedom of being able to go her own way, particularly at the end of the school day, and run errands or do things at home and not be waiting on me.
Does she drive?
The nurse will drive in the morning.
Gotcha.
And then the high school helper will come pick up the van and go over and pick her up in the afternoon. She could drive. So a few years back, I can't remember I feel like Sam and Emmy were relatively young. So let's just say 7 years ago, she had someone come and she did some driving lessons, and they had modified a van, not our van, but a different one, so that she could do that. And she drove around our neighborhood, and she came to the realization that if there were no deer, no rain, no oncoming traffic, like if you took all these other things out of the equation, she could drive.
Yeah.
But as soon as a deer ran out, or the road conditions weren't good, or a car came, like there were certain instances where she felt like it was going to be unsafe. So that was a big disappointment, because she had some hope that it was going to provide this level of independence and freedom. And when that didn't work out, that was a letdown for sure.
Because she needs somebody around
Right.
24/7, right?
Right. She can be on her own.
Okay.
Like here, she could be on her own. She just, every now and then, she would need someone to help get food, or to go to the bathroom, or
Does she get quiet time?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's important, because I'm glad you bring that up, because that's another thing that nobody realizes. But from the word go, and by that I mean several mornings, her caretaker will show up around 5. From that moment, she is always communicating. I'm like, I need a little time in the morning to talk to no one. I just need to go to the shower, just sort of learn to let my brain warm up a little bit. And beyond that, throughout the whole day and even after school, every little thing requires communication. The level of communication to me would be exhausting. So I guess what is nice for her is after her high school helper goes, which is normally around 5. At that point on, she's able to relax. Like if the weather's nice, she'll sit out in the sun. If it's not, she'll be in front of our fireplace. That there's a gas fireplace. She can start it with a remote, and she uses it probably 11 months out of the year because she likes to be warm.
Yeah.
And so evening time could be going to watch Sam and Emmy. They do soccer and track and basketball, and they're oftentimes we're at their events, and she's cheering them on. But if we're at home, occasionally she'll help them with their schoolwork. It required much more when they were younger, and a little bit less now. And otherwise, if she's not attending to like something she needs to get ready for school, or something else, like she's able to have a few hours of time where she's watching a show or reading a book, or saying the rosary, or I think that's important.
Yeah.
It's most of the time, if we're home, I would say it would be normal for her to lay down around 8 and just get out of her chair and then relax. And most of the time I would say that I'm up with them or doing other things till 9:30 or 10. And then we end up with a little bit of time before one of us uncontrollably dozes off.
Yes. It's a busy schedule.
Yeah. But to your point from the beginning, yes, we have a lot of people in our village. We're incredibly grateful. Like when our kids first came home, there was a girl named Lauren that lived down the street. God just knew, like, Lauren was exceptional in every way when it comes to like taking care of and being around kids. And lo and behold, she had been coming over when she was younger just to visit with Kelly. Well, when Sam and Emmy came home, she was a junior in high school. Well, that's the age she just got her driver's license. And so she became our go-to. She was like Kelly's helper, but then she would take care of Sam and Emmy. She would watch them at nighttime if we needed to go out. And she has stayed in our life. We're still very close with Lauren. She's married and a nurse, or not a nurse rather, but a occupational therapist. But Sam and Emmy are super close to her because they always made them a priority. Comes to cheer them on and support them in sports. And So wonderful blessing. Kelly's great aunt, Martha Jane, she would make meals for us a couple times a week. Prior to that, after her accident, she would be the one that would take Kelly to USI to go finish up her college.
Yeah, that's a fascinating story. Right after the accident, after the injury, what'd she do?
So she took a year off ish, I believe, and then she was motivated to be a teacher, and there were plenty of people in her inner circle that I think she would say, including her mom, that said there's no way. And so she tried, I don't remember what it was, but she tried something else for a week or two, a different major, and I think was like not a chance. And so she just had her mind made up that that's what she was going to do. And it was just going to look different, but she would do it well. I think this is her 21st year of teaching fifth grade. And just today, she's delivering a message to our eighth graders called Family Life 2.0. She had given them the introductory version in fifth grade, but today was just talking right before they're headed to high school about, she just said there's 3 takeaways, and then she hit a home run with the presentation. She fully captivated. You have 35 eighth graders and not one person's making a noise. Totally locked in. But she said 3 things I want you to take away from this. 1, the 10 commandments are your compass. 2, your body is a gift. And 3, be willing to be different. That the world is going to tell you need certain things or you need to do this. And it's going to require a lot of courage and conviction to be willing to step away from what the world is telling you to do.
Message is fantastic, but then Kelly delivering it with, when you're looking at a person in her situation and that message coming through her, that's powerful.
Yeah.
And so people drove her back and forth to ISU?
Yeah, her great aunt did, and then a close friend of hers, Jenna, who they would travel together. Jenna was also going to school there at the time. Fast forward, and a few years after Sam and Emmy are home, Martha Jane's a little bit older, not quite in as good a health. And so then Dana Tin, another God timing thing, right? Like when Sam and Emmy were coming home, she and Chris had raised 3 children, and the youngest of which, David, at some point in his youth became wheelchair bound. And so anyway, David had just left for college, and so they were sort of empty nested, and Dana was eager and willing to help us. And little did we realize that she was going to continue to help. And so here we are 10 years later, and the help just keeps coming. Like, she had a Dana day every Wednesday. She would take them, and then they went to kindergarten. So then she had a day where she would pick them up from kindergarten and spend the day. Then they grew a little bit older, and she's just always made them a priority. And then it evolved, and she started bringing meals, and meals just, if she's not traveling, it's like a ferry. They just show up. And so it's just, I mean, I think a lot of people in life give, but sometimes with a mindset of, how am I going to be reciprocated? And I don't want to say keep score, but sometimes it's like, well, I'll do something because they did something for me, or but there are a few people, and Dana is one of them, that just give unconditionally in ways that, like, you're never going to be able to repay it, other than to say, like, it inspires you to be better and do better. And so some of these people, I mean, Sam and Emmy have awesome grandparents. My parents, Kelly's parents, awesome. Yet they have these other people in their life, the high school helpers, Riley, Maria, Lauren, Kerrigan, Lauren's sister, Sarah. There's been others, and I should be able to just rattle them off. But they've been...
Yeah, you're probably not going to be able to name them all.
fantastic influences. And then people like Dana and Chris, they just have had a lot of people that have poured into them and shown them love. And they they wrote about it. Like this year in 8th grade, they had to do this autobiography project in ELA, and the teacher had milestones. So like every couple weeks, it was a new topic, something else was due, but it was all about them and almost like throughout different stages of life. And then there was a part at the end about their VIPs. And so here they are getting to write about all these people that have had an impact on their life.
The world is so lonely right now. It's kind of an epidemic that just went to the doctor, and there's so many mental health questions now. Like, do you socialize? Are you in clubs or whatever? And with all the difficulties and struggles and everything that's on your plate, you have something that most people would really be envious of. And it's a community of relationships. And it's reciprocating relationships, not, like, as you said, not competing, not having to keep up or whatever. It's who's in need and what are we going to do about it. And I just feel like that's really the way God created us to live, in relationship with each other, giving when we can, asking for help when we need it. And it's just really beautiful and peaceful and joyful to live life with such beautiful people. And I don't know how that gets emulated without suffering. I don't know if it's possible, but we should strive for it.
Amen.
We should strive for, in our community, in our families, and in our, how can we all increase that, but the suffering brings it forward, right?
You're right.
It makes us,
yeah. I like to say it's in those moments where the best of humanity is seen.
Right.
And to your point, you just look at that, because whenever something bad happens, people come running and are willing to help and come to the rescue. And it's like, okay, but then it fades. And so
It does.
why not live that way, like you said,
Continue
all the
on.
time?
Do we feel like we have to try to be independent again, which really that independence it stops us from having relationships, and we miss out on other people's skills and values if we just have to do it ourselves. So when you become empty nesters, like Chris and Dana did.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that train is picking up speed as we speak. I can tell by the way.
You'll have one when they go to college, and then it'll be even greater when they're done with college. But do you have any dreams for you and for you and Kelly, or do you have any? What do you see?
That's a great question.
Like, you've been through so much. How would you use that? What would you apply it to?
Yeah. So at this point, this probably seems strange, but for myself, I wouldn't have a good answer other than to say I've reached a stage in life where I've been super fortunate, and it's not lost on me. I've had the chance to spend far more time with our kids than most parents get to, or I'll say a lot of dads for that matter. I've been able to coach them in soccer for many years. At this point, I just cheer them on. But then being a teacher, we've had the same schedule, right? So like Christmas breaks and summer breaks and fall breaks and spring breaks and even evenings. And so, I mean, in the morning, I'm the person in the morning with them, helping make sure they get breakfast and get out the door. And in the evening, I'm the person tucking them in and telling them good night, although we've reached a point where sometimes I get there before they do. And then the last few years as a teacher at their school, in 6th grade, I had them for a class. In 7th grade, I had them for 2 classes. And in 8th grade, I have them for 2 classes. And so to have the time with them and their friends, it's such a gift, because you don't get it back. So, yeah, I think as I look to the near future, let's just say high school years, I'm at a place where I just want to cheer them on, and I want to cheer Kelly on. I want to see them shine both academically, athletically, socially, relationships, all of it, spiritually for sure. And then I think with Kelly, she's been willing to kind of put on hold certain opportunities. She published this book in July of 2015, and Sam and Emmy came home 1 month later.
Yeah, I think
so,
in the back of the book it says they're not here yet
Yeah.
or something. I remember
And
that.
that's exciting,
Yeah.
awesome. So Kelly and her aunt Michelle worked on this book and published it in July of 2015. And then 1 month later, Sam and Emmy came home, and it was awesome. But there would have been opportunities for Kelly to speak, and she's gifted and talented, and she enjoys it, and she has an awesome message. And the thing is, like, she doesn't love travel. Travel's hard. We do a lot of it for their sports, to visit my family, to go on other vacations with her family. So we do plenty of it. We're not usually like looking to do more. And so with speaking, one of the limitations is, she would want to do it in a closer radius, and so that limits you. My hope would be in a couple of years, Sam and Emmy will start driving, and that'll create some freedom and independence for them. And I think what that will enable is maybe some time for Kelly to do more, or seek out more speaking opportunities. And then meanwhile, Michelle had nudged her for a few years to do this, and Kelly wasn't ready. And then at some point she was, and a similar thing happened. Michelle had nudged her for some time about doing a devotional, and Kelly had said, no, can't do that right now. And then all of a sudden, at the start of Lent this year, I mean, probably a day before Lent started, she turned to me and said, "You know what? I think for Lent, I'm just gonna reallocate my time, and instead of watching shows or being on Instagram, I'm gonna devote my time and energy to a devotional." And she did it. And by the end of Lent, it was done. At least the draft of it was done. And so now it's in these stages of editing and formatting and book cover and some endorsements and stuff like that. But her and her Aunt Michelle set a goal of aiming to publish July 10th, which is the anniversary of her accident. I'm convinced. I mean, this was what else was awesome. Like, she would write 1 or 2 a day during Lent, and then she would print it and leave it on my chair at night. And so at the end of the day, I would get around to sitting down and eating a bowl of cereal, and I'd read these. I mean, they're incredible. But I kept thinking, well, there's this law of diminishing return, where over time something becomes lesser quality. Like, if you ate 40 Snickers, the first one tastes good, but number 38 on the same day doesn't.
Yeah.
And so I felt like, well, eventually they won't be as good. Well, I feel like some of the last ones she wrote were the best. I'm amazed at the quality all the way through. And I guess I've kind of figured out that not everyone is someone that reads books. I mean, that's just not
right.
So a lot of people do,
Right.
but some people don't. Meanwhile, the devotional is awesome because in 3 or 4 minutes, you can read the devotion, and I feel like, who doesn't want to get their mind right? That seems more palatable to most people. So my conviction is that the devotional that she's getting ready to publish will have an even further reach or impact, which is awesome. And so I'm excited for her and what lies ahead. Admittedly, as she's aging, which is not to say she's old, she has more and more chronic pain. And so she would say, I'm a 46-year-old in a 75-year-old body. So there's a reality to that I think is hard to kind of come to terms with. But anyway, she'll continue to shine, and she'll power through as she always does. And then for Sam and Emmy, high school and whatever is after high school, I'm excited for them, and I'm going to be there however I can to help them or support them. So, yeah, for me, I think that's what excites me about the future is just seeing the three of them impact the world in their own ways.
Yeah.
I've learned enough for myself to know that some of the best things in my life, God revealed. And so for being a planner, I've become much more comfortable with the idea that I don't have to have it figured out. And I like to think that good things come in threes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a CPA and I was a teacher, and neither of those things define me, but they're part of who I am. And I think there could be a third act.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I trust that God will make that clear at some point. So
fantastic. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate your time and sharing your incredible story. I know that it's going to speak to a lot of people because we all have stuff.
That's exactly right.
We all need to dream about what we can do with our own stuff and taking it a day at a time, trusting, and moving forward, and just waiting for God's grace is new every day, and to wait and see. It seems like that's the way you all live your life, so it's fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. IDKY Podcast. Stay blessed, y'all. I think Sammy wants to come on the video.
Oh, yeah?
We'll see if he wants to come in.
He likes to kick balls around or shoot balls.
No.
She said they're in their pajamas.
That'd be even better.
I know.
That's
yeah.
okay.